finals are starting up very soon. We just finished up the Eastern and Western Conference Finals. You know, I have to do a playoff recap video and then do, I guess, my predictions, my picks, my thoughts on this upcoming NBA Finals between the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Indiana Pacers. Please, if you guys could like the video, like the video. I know I say that in literally every video, but I guess every YouTuber says it in all their videos. Make sure you guys click the like button if you guys are enjoying this year's playoffs. If you guys just like the channel, if you guys like Jake Baller videos, make sure to just click the like button. It's a free and easy thing to do. And then also comment down below, I guess, your picks, your predictions on this year's NBA Finals. Who is your Finals MVP? And your, I guess, complete thoughts on how the NBA playoffs went this year. Alright, so we are here in the NBA Finals where we're going to backtrack just a little bit and talk about this year's Eastern and Western Conference Finals. We are going to talk about the Western Conference Finals first because they are the ones that finished up first. The Western Conference matchup was between the Minnesota Timberwolves, kind of the underdog of the West, taking down the crazy LA Lakers team of Luka Doncic and LeBron James, taking out Steph Curry in parentheses and the Golden State Warriors, who are also coming off of a big kind of upset as a 7 seed of a 2 seed matchup. Was it 7? 7-2? Yeah, I think it was. And then you had the OKC Thunder, who were just the most dominant team, arguably in the entire NBA, with the MVP of SGA, cruised through the Memphis Grizzlies. Sorry, the G messed me up there. Taking on a Denver Nugget team that took them all the way to 7, but the old legs against the young guys. Kind of easy to see who would win that matchup. Going on to take on the Minnesota Timberwolves, who have the budding star and maybe the second coming of Michael Jordan, and the Edwards in that Minnesota Timberwolves team, where the OKC Thunder had a pretty easy time winning that series. And I think a lot of people's opinions on not only just the Thunder have changed, but maybe even Anthony Edwards, but in like a negative stance. Anthony Edwards struggled really badly in this playoff series. I remember hearing a quote from Anthony Edwards saying that the OKC Thunder play like puppets on a string, which is kind of a weird analogy when it comes to this team, but it does make a lot of sense, and it's not a negative way. The OKC Thunder play like a complete team. They are one unit. They do have a head of that snake of SGA, but dude, that is it is almost San Antonio Spur, Greg Popovich kind of esque, of just like that team just doesn't have any flaws. They play together. Their role players play like great role players. Their stars play like stars. This is, I think, the OKC Thunder might be the second coming of the San Antonio Spurs. Now I know the Spurs are up and coming very soon now that they have Victor Wembanyama, De'Aaron Fox, and the number 2 overall pick in this year's draft. That is terrifying. But even with all that, I still have such belief in this OKC Thunder franchise. The GM, the Thunder are going to be a problem for years to come, not because of just the talent they have in the basketball sense, which they do. They just get it. Those guys get it. They understand. And if they keep this core group together, sure, you mix in a couple of role players here and there throughout the years, I don't see how OKC is not an NBA final contender for the next 5 to 7 years. And I'm not kidding. Now, for the Eastern Conference side of things, it was not such an easy pick. Well, it was, until a major injury happened. For the Eastern Conference Finals, we had the New York Knicks taking on the Indiana Pacers, with the Pacers beating the Knicks in 6 games, which is what I said would happen. If it did happen that way, it would be Indiana in 6. And am I surprised? Not necessarily. I knew Indiana was a good team. I knew if they played correctly and right, and they played on fire, they were playing their best basketball. Sorry about that loud car going by. If they basketball at the right point in time, they're going to go pretty far. All the way to NBA Finals? No, not that far. But in other Eastern Conference Finals, I saw it happening. Because Boston was everybody's pick. Boston was my pick to be a back-to-back champion. They were my pick after they won, before the season, halfway through the season, at the start of the playoffs. Even when they were down 2-0 on the Knicks, I still believed in Boston. And then a big-time injury happened. Jason Tatum had a really bad injury. He's probably not even going to be playing much of next year either. And the New York Knicks got past the Detroit Pistons, and this Celtic team kind of knocked down a notch, took care of them. I have to say this, even a fully healthy Celtics team was, not winning games against that Knicks team, so I gotta give Knicks their props, but I still think a fully healthy Celtic team was going to at least take that series to 7 games. The Knicks looked good, but wow, they just collapsed against Indiana. I think coaching had something to do with it. I think Rick Carlisle had a great game plan. I think the others of the Indiana Pacers really showed out. That is just a complete roster of a team with 2 guys who are really, really good, in Tyrese Haliburton and Pascal Siakam. And if you're a fan of the NBA, you'll love to see Indiana in the finals, because it's not a Laker-Luka Doncic duo team. It's not this almost super team stardom of the Boston Celtics. It's an all-NBA third-team guy with an almost all-star player, player in Pascal Siakam. And I think every NBA team can kind of strive to be like, oh wait, we can maybe get like an all-NBA third-team guy and maybe like an all-star, almost all-star kind of duo to pair with him. You just need to build out your roster the correct way and pray that your head coach is somewhat competent. And boom, look what you got. As, being a team of another small market, I love to see Indiana in the finals, because it even gives my hopeless romantic brain some hope. And I feel like this Indiana team is the hope for a lot of teams. Now, in the NBA Finals, you do have 2 small market teams, one in a very different place than the other. In a very small market versus small market matchup, it still feels like a David and Goliath battle, which I think is very interesting. And I'm actually really excited to see how this is even going to play out. So, here we are. We have kind of set the stage. We set the stage for this NBA final matchup. Indiana gets OKC. OKC will have home court advantage. They are a 9.5 point favorite they're not a favorite for that game. Money line, OKC is a minus 405. Holy cow, that's pretty interesting. Now, taking a look at the stats, head to head. OKC demolishes them on the statistics of everything, which of course, I think they probably have an edge at every position. They have, in my opinion, the better player. Their head coach is pretty nice, but of course Rick Carlisle is an NBA champion head coach. He coached the team that beat LeBron in the finals. One of the best underdog championships maybe in all sports history. So if anyone knows how to have this David and Goliath type of matchup, it's him. But the odds are so stacked against this Indiana Pacer team. It's pretty interesting to see. Now, it's, I think, going to be a big sort of differential with this team is how Indiana kind of responds to that David and Goliath matchup. If Indiana comes into this game feeling that they are going to lose, and they're going to lose very badly, but at least from what I've seen, what I've heard, and just from watching their games, this team plays like a 1 seed, and as they should, and as every NBA team should. They should play like they are the best players players like they are the best team in all of basketball. And they do it, and they definitely believe it, which is amazing. They did it against the number one seeded team in Cleveland. They did it against a Giannis Antetokounmpo matchup, and even against this New York team with all of the media backing them. Took them to 6 games and did it pretty nicely, actually. So I'm very interested in seeing how this series goes. Now, of course, the youth of OKC has been the big buzzword, the big buzz term when it comes to this OKC team. Is this where we finally see the youth of OKC and, of course, the inexperience of that head coach being in NBA Finals with an NBA championship winning coach on the other end? I'm very interested to see how the sort of mind games and the setup of these games kind of go, the sort of chess the match that we're about to see. That's going to be really exciting. But all that's fun. All that is dandy. But come on. At the end of the day, it is still basketball. I get it. I've almost picked Indiana to lose every single matchup they've been in. I think even in my playoff prediction video, I had the Bucks winning. But I also said I could see the Pacers winning, so it was kind of a 50-50 thing. Anyways, and I'm doing it again. OKC is winning the NBA Finals. They were my, obviously, number 2 pick to win the NBA Championship. Number 1 being the Boston Celtics going up against OKC. That was my NBA Finals. OKC versus Boston. OKC versus Pacers. I'm sticking with my number 2 guess on who's winning the NBA Championship this year. It's going to be OKC. It's going to be SGA winning the MVP for the NBA Finals. And I think it's going to be, I'll say 6. I'll say OKC in 6. I think they'll win on the road in Indiana. I mean, but guys, this might be 5. Like, I know, like, I keep doing this crazy thing where I'm, like, undermining the Pacers, and I'm not. I'm telling you guys, I don't think Indiana sucks. I don't hate Tyrese Halliburton. It's just one of those things where they are peaking. They have peaked. They are playing their best basketball right now. Completely 100%. And I'm not saying OKC is not playing their best. But do y'all remember when the Miami Heat, an 8-seeded Miami Heat team, made it all the way to the NBA Finals? And remember when they did it before in the bubble? And there are a couple other teams that have had some crazy playoff runs before in the past because they just peaked. They're playing their best basketball at the right moment, at the right time, and then they kind of fall off a cliff. It's happened almost every time a team has done that. A team has overachieved. You can even take a look at the Pacers last year in the Eastern Conference Finals, and when they actually ran into some crazy team that was also playing their best basketball at the right time, which I'm not gonna lie, I do not think the New York Knicks were playing that good of basketball, even against the Boston Celtics. This could be a point in time where we see the Pacers just fold, and it wouldn't surprise me if that did happen. I don't think it will. I will give Indiana some games here and there. I think it will be close. I think Tyrese is going to show out. I think Pascal Siakam is also going to look stellar in this performance. But when you have Chet and Jalen in the interior with Hartenstein, like, that's a tough interior defensive team, with also the perimeter play that OKC has, with SGA not being a terrible defender, with Lou and Caruso, and also Jalen Williams being another good perimeter defender. Like, what do they do? Like, what is OKC's soft spot? Oh, they're young. Like, okay, besides that, I can't really say anything that the Pacers are significantly better at, besides just, they do play at a fast pace, but that also kind of caters towards OKC. They do have a great sort of facilitating game. They pass the ball a lot, but that could also lead to a bunch of turnovers to a team that loves to run on the fast break and loves turnovers. Like, it's, man, a lot of the things that the Pacers do well, the OKC's not going to be a team that kind of faults to that, and they're a solid rebounding team. They can score with the best of them. I think OKC OKC is just going to be too much. OKC in 6 games. And I think that's a pretty solid pick. Is there really anything else I really want to talk about? I mean, not really. The NBA Eastern Conference Finals were a lot of fun, but even then I feel like the Pacers were kind of the runaway team, especially with the first couple games. You could just tell the Knicks were gassed. The Pacers were just better. Enough said. And even the Western Conference Finals were also kind of lackluster. The second round was pretty fun. The first round, everything was kind of in a big question mark, which was also kind of fun to see that. I think this year's NBA playoffs were a success. I think they were fun. I think there were definitely some injuries that definitely left a lot of question marks out there. Of course, Damian Lillard and Jason Tatum and Steph Curry. Yeah, there's actually a lot of injuries, so that kind of sucked. If I had to rate this year's playoffs, I'd probably give it like a 7 out of 10. I think, of course, the injuries kind of played a big part in it, and there were also some matchups that were just bleh, that just really sucked. I'm talking to you, Miami Heat and the Cleveland Cavaliers in the first round. That should have never happened in the first place, but there were some really good matchups. I think all of the Denver series were amazing. The Denver Clipper, Denver OKC series, that was great until it wasn't in Game 7. Yeah, I had a lot of fun, and I hope you guys did too, and it's kind of sad. I'll talk a little bit more NBA throughout the NBA Finals, but we're almost done with this, man. Now, I will be making some more, basketball content, and we do have the NBA draft, and if there are any big-time trades and stuff like that, I'll be on to talk about that stuff. But dang, another NBA year in the books, which I'm kind of sad about. Let me know down in the comments who you guys have picked